I am confused. Being philosophically consistent and being a very honest person, I'm sure you can tell me where God came from. And in addition, once you've told me where God comes from, please try to clarify how you can figure that a spiritual force can have an impact on a material universe to create it. I think that some years ago we already talked about that kind of thing in philosophical circles at any rate, by posing the question, if angels are made of spiritual matter and a pen is made of material matter and spiritual matter displaces no space, how many angels can dance on the tip of a pen? I have a sense of sort of reversal experience here, but please do, go ahead.
You got 5 minutes. Now, I just want to know which question.
That's all right. You may take the rest of the minutes.
We're supposed to do one question at a time. Which one would you like? That was part of the format for the debate. So which question?
I want you to fill in the story of the rest of the beginning of the universe. God, spiritual matter, impact on material matter.
Okay. So 2 questions. All right.
Go ahead.
All right, your question, where did God come from, assumes that you're thinking of the wrong, obviously it displays that you're thinking of the wrong God, because the God of the Bible is not affected by time, space, or matter. If he's affected by time, space, or matter, he's not God. Time, space, and matter is what we call a continuum. All of them have to come into existence at the same instant, because if there were matter but no space, where would you put it? If there were matter and space but no time, when would you put it? You cannot have time, space, or matter independently. They have to come into existence simultaneously. The Bible answers that in 10 words. In the beginning, there's time. God created the heaven, there's space, and the earth, there's matter. So you have time, space, matter, created a trinity of trinities there. Just, time is past, present, future. Space has length, width, height. Matter has solid, liquid, gas. You have a trinity of trinities created instantaneously, and the God who created them has to be outside of them. If he's limited by time, he's not God. The guy who created this computer is not in the computer. He's not running around in there changing the numbers on the screen, okay? The God who created this universe is outside of the universe. He's above it, beyond it, in it, through it. He's unaffected by it. So the concept that a spiritual force cannot have any effect on a material body, well then I guess you'd have to explain to me things like emotions and love and hatred and envy and jealousy and rationality. I mean, if your brain is just a random collection of chemicals that form by chance over billions of years, how on earth can you trust your own reasoning processes and the thoughts that you think? Okay, so your question, where did God come from, is assuming a limited God. And that's your problem. The God that I worship is not limited by time, space, or matter. If I could fit the infinite God in my 3-pound brain, he would not be worth worshiping, that's for certain. So that's the God that I worship. Thank you.
Sometimes I imagine a computer program becoming self-aware and asking, who made me? That wouldn't be a crazy question, ladies and gentlemen. It will actually be the most reasonable question it could ask. Because programs, they don't just write themselves. No. Code doesn't randomly organize into meaningful instructions. No. And whenever I see complex ordered information, a lot of people, we instinctively know there is a mind behind it. It's just common sense, right? And that's exactly what I see when I look at life. In other words, DNA isn't just some random chemicals bouncing around. No, it's structured information, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it carries detailed instructions for building and sustaining life. You see, in every other area of reality, information points back to the source, in other words, to intelligence. You see? Yeah. We would never say a sophisticated operating system just assembled itself by accident. No, we don't do that. So why do we say the same when it comes about our world, the universe? In other words, Matter changes form. Yeah. Physics describe how things behave. Absolutely, it describes processes. But those laws, they don't explain why the universe exists in the first place. They don't explain why they are laws, ladies and gentlemen. In other words, information didn't just create it itself. Order don't just appear. No, out of accidents. You've never heard that an accident produced order? That's not a thing, ladies and gentlemen. You see? And when I look at even one living cell, just one, I see coordinated systems, ladies and gentlemen. Energy conversion, precision that goes beyond anything humans have engineered. And to call that an accident feels like the most crazy thing that we can think of or even say. And I understand saying, when you, for instance, like when you don't know something, when you don't understand it, yeah, be open. I don't know, like one writer once said, the more we study, the more we actually realize that we don't know. And it's true, right? It's true. Because there are questions of things that we cannot explain. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? In the midst of all of that, there is actually a source where we can get all these answers. Yeah, there has to be a designer. There has to be a creator. And in Christianity, indeed, that creator, his name is Jesus. Yeah, because Christianity doesn't just tell you that there is a creator. It tells you about this creator, that he stepped into the universe, Yeah. And Jesus is the author, stepping into his own story, ladies and gentlemen. The Word becoming flesh. He came, he dwelt amongst us, amongst men. He ate food like they ate food. He also got tired like they got tired. You see? He spoke words that people understood. In other words, he forgave sins. I could share a lot of things he did. He accepted worship. And he claimed that he was one with the Father. He spoke about his own death and the resurrection. You see? And whenever you hear that, definitely it leaves you with a choice. It's either he was telling the truth or they were all lies. But ladies and gentlemen, the evidence suggests that he had to tell the truth. Because if indeed Jesus rose from the dead, you see, and you walked out of that tomb, then life cannot just be random. It has to have meaning. It has to have direction, purpose. Because morality makes sense when there is a lawgiver, right? Information makes sense when there is intelligence behind it. In other words, when we can interpret the why, right? Creation gotta make sense if there is a creator, right? Otherwise, you can just say we are just existing randomly. So, I think if a system or if a person wants to understand where they came from, how they got here, that is not a foolish question. That's actually a good question. And I believe the answer is in Jesus. Yeah. That's why he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. In other words, you got questions, come ahead, come forward. And you said, I want to learn more. Open that Bible. Read. You'll be amazed. Well, folks, if you enjoyed this one, be sure to click on the next. You will definitely enjoy it even more.